The moment your team gets to a point where you're not excited anymore, it's the moment you know to yourself that this team are in deep issues. Because that's how I'm feeling right now. I don't know how you guys feel. I can't speak for you guys. I can speak for myself. I'm not excited anymore. I'm not looking forward to watch any more Real Madrid game. Yesterday's title for the video said, bring the international break back. I'm being dead serious. Bring it back. Because I'm watching this team and I don't know what I'm watching. And sometimes I say to myself, before the game starts, are we going to win this game? And are we going to win this convincingly? Or are we going to suffer the same way we've been doing for the past 3 games? And I'm going to have people say, as people in SDS said, oh my God, you're top of the table. Brother, put the top of the table in the bag. If you watch this team, you would know. And Real Madrid at the moment are in a situation where we don't know whether it's the manager or it's the players, or whether it's the combination of both. Because I rewatched yesterday's game, and I should not have done it because I made a massive mistake. I wasted 2 hours of doing it, but I did it for you guys. I did it to make this video. I did it to break it down on what is going on with this team, because we are currently in a mess. We are in a mess where some of the players are not performing at all, and we're in a mess where the manager is in a predicament and he doesn't know what to do. Sometimes I look at him, are you going to take these players off? Because deep down, he's not able to take these players off, because if he does take these players off, then the media headlines are going to be on him and say, oh, why did you take him off? Why did you take him off? And sometimes he doesn't have the balls, the cojones to maybe not start this man, or maybe not start this man, because we are not going any further this season in terms of winning trophies and competing if it doesn't involve making harsh decisions. The manager must make these tough decisions. But yesterday's game, I rewatched it, and it's a combination of both. Yesterday's game, it's not a Xabi Alonso issue. And yesterday's game, it's not a player issue. Yesterday's game is both Xabi Alonso and the players, because both set of individuals, more than individuals, because as one individual is the manager, and the players as a whole deserve a lot of blame on what's going on. Because they can't pretend, you know what, it's not my fault. You know what, it's the manager's fault. Because at the moment, I feel like there is a divide. At the moment, this is the way I look at it, especially when I look at this team now, and I look at the habits, and look at the way the character are, and the body language, and the Xabi Alonso's as well, off the bench, and what Xabi Alonso says in the press conference. I feel like there's a divide at the moment. I feel like there is some players that are with the manager, and there are some players that are not with the manager. And the manager is stuck now. What do? Do I please those players, or do I just ignore them and just make sure that the players that supports me, I will continue supporting them? Because that's what it feels like now. There's a divide at the moment. And I'm going to show you a couple clips from the game yesterday, and we can determine by the end of this video what really is the issue and what really needs to happen. Because at the moment, I'm stuck between the middle, whether the players deserves every single blame of this, or whether the manager needs to do better. And I feel like it's the middle, and I feel like it's the... Let's get to it. Number one, I'm going to start with why Xabi Alonso deserves all the blame he can get. First of all, starting Ceballos, you should have never... you know what? I'm not going to say this right now. I'm going to save it to the end. I just want to get to this clip, because this clip pisses me off. Like, when I see this picture, it pisses me off. Why am I seeing Fran Garcia as the furthest player up front? Why am I seeing Fran Garcia making late runs? Why? Why am I seeing Mbappe, Rodrigo, Jude? Why am I seeing Fran Garcia as my furthest player in the final third? And it wasn't just once. It was twice. Look at this picture right here. Look at this picture. It really kills me why my left back is right there in the middle of the park. And there's more examples, but I'm not going to bore you with more examples. And this is the issue. And this is, again, this is a blame for Xabi Alonso. You need to understand the strength of every single one of your players. That maybe would have worked last season or the year before with Leverkusen. Maybe Grimaldo was able and fully capable to play in that position. Maybe Jeremy Frimpong was able and capable to play in that position. Expecting Fran Garcia to play in that position in the final third, where you can receive the ball, where you can turn under pressure, where he's got the decision making, where he's got the IQ. Brother, he doesn't. And you need to understand your player's strength, because clearly yesterday you did not understand any of Fran Garcia's best advantages and his strength, because you play to his weakness. He's not able to play in that position. And it's not just one, and it's not just this picture, it's this picture and every single one of those pictures. So this Xabi Alonso is on you, because you clearly didn't understand your own players. Secondly, move on to the second thing. The second issue. The second issue, once again, is a Xabi Alonso issue. I'm going to give you a combination both going forward from both sides, the player and the manager, and defensively from both sides, the player and the manager. The second clip is also going forward. I'm going to start with going forward first of all. And again, this is a Xabi Alonso big, because why is Trent Alexander-Arnold crossing the ball and only Fran Garcia is in the box once again? Why is it that every single player of my forward, the Mbappe, the Jude, Rodrigo's outside the box? And why is my left back, why is my right back crossing into my left back? That should be the biggest question. Because this was another example. And it's another example that pisses me off in the second half, where Trent Alexander-Arnold is about to cross the ball, but he looks up and nobody's inside. Vinny's there, Mbappe's coming there, Jude is there, White, Fed's not even looking at him. And this is my issue, because when you have one of the great passers in our generation, a man who can find any single man on the pitch from one pass, why is no one even daring to make a run inside the box? Especially when you have this demon in front of you. Especially when you have this demon who's able to find you. Are you guys, do you guys think you're playing with Vasquez? Do you guys still think you're playing with someone at that level where he's not able to find you? Where he's not able to complete a cross, where he's not able to complete a pass? Because, brother, the moment he's able, the moment people are making runs, this is what he's able to do. Mbappe finally made one run after 32nd minute. Mbappe finally decided, you know what? Let me wait for that Trent pass. Trent, incredible pass. Mbappe missed an easy chance. Easy chance. And if you play to his strength, this is what you need to do. So for an Mbappe, for a Vinny, for a Jude, for anyone, specifically Mbappe, because he's been playing as our striker. My brother, you don't need to drop 30 times when Trent is on the ball. When you have Trent on the pitch with you, all you have to do is make the runs inside the box. And believe me, the ball will get to you. And again, this is a Xabi Alonso thing, because he needs to understand, I've got Trent on pitch. He needs to instruct his players what to do when he's got the ball, and instruct him the areas and the pockets that need to be exploited. Because when you do, look at this example. Trent Alexander-Arnold is looking up. And this is the threat that he possesses, which I hope you guys understand, because we've got a cheat code in our team. I said it when we signed him. I've been begging for him to join us for the past 3 years, and finally we have him. Because when we have this kind of demon in your team, look at this. Right now he's in this position. All you have to do is one person make one run, one person make one run, this Donny makes another run, and boom, Arda Güler was in a space by himself and led to a chance. It led to a chance. And this is what you need to do. And this is what I've been trying to tell everyone: off the ball movement. Off the ball movement is more important than anything else. Because the moment Mbappe didn't get the ball, Rodrigo didn't get the ball, Arda Güler didn't get the ball, but the moment these two make the runs, he followed him, and then boom, this guy went there, and Trent is able to find him with a perfect weight of a pass. And that's what happens. Football is simple. Football is not difficult. Let's not complicate the sport more than what we should. It's an easy sport. All you need is the right pieces and the right players to understand where we need to exploit or where we need to go. Because these two made 2 runs, harmless runs, but those runs are actually very important, because it was dragging players with them, which means there is now areas for someone to exploit off the ball movement. This led to a chance, and that's what we need to do more often. if the manager is able to tell these players the instruction what they need to do. This is another example. I just added this one because it pissed me off when I was rewatching the game where Vinny actually made a great cross. The Vinny's cross came right here, by the way. But it pisses me off that no one was inside the box. And if someone was inside the box, bro, it would have been an easy finish. Vinny made an incredible cross, but straight after that chance, guess what happened? Boom, Gonzalo Garcia comes on and it changes. So Xabi Alonso must have understood from there, you know what? I need to change things. Hence the reason why throughout that second segment, it was all his fault because I felt like he was able to tell the players what to do in terms of crashing the box when Trent's got the ball. And sometimes he understood. He realized, thankfully, sooner rather than later, because throughout the whole season, Gonzalo Garcia has barely got any minutes. He realized, you know what? I've got Trent. Crosses coming inside from other players. No one's inside the box. Let me make a substitution. And they made the right substitution. Then we get to the third segment, and this is on the players. I don't expect Xabi Alonso to tell players how to play football because this should be clearly basic instruction as a player. Simple. This is simple football, simple movements. I don't need the manager to spoon feed you or to tell you, oh, this is what you should do. You should know this by yourself. And all of you guys are world-class players, so you should know. Arda Güler is running right now with the ball. He just won the ball. From my man, look at him. And look out of our two players in the final third. We are currently, as things stands, we are in a great position because Mbappe has got different ideas. Mbappe's got two things he can do. Two right things he can do. The first thing he can do is, as his body motion is at the moment, he can drag on the side because he understands Rodrigo's on that side. So let's give Arda Güler options because now he can play on the left, he can the right, and these two have to make a decision. Are you following me? Which if you do, Rodrigo's got an open space, or are you not going to follow me? Which means Jude can make that run as well. And Rodrigo, that means we are overpowering them with two players. That's two different runs he can make. He decides rather than making that run, because I feel like this run right here would have been the better run. Instead, he decided and said, you know what? I'm making that run. That's fine. No problem at all. You pick the second option. The second option would have been continuously making that run. Go centrally. Exploit that open space. Because if you did that, Arda Güler would have found a pass through the middle because able to do that. He's been doing it throughout this whole season. Or a chip pass over the top, which he can do throughout this whole season. And he did it earlier this game where you missed another chance by Arda Güler, or he could have found you just a slip pass next to you. Instead, what did you do? You never picked the first option, which is this one, the right option. You never picked the second option. Instead, you decided to pick the third option. And the third option is, the worst option of them all because you went to the same space and the same area as Rodrigo. So you didn't give Arda Güler any sort of chances. You didn't give Arda Güler any sort of options. And Arda Güler was confused. Where the hell is he going? I've got two players there. My brother, he lost the ball. That people can look at Arda Güler. Why are you losing the ball? Context is very important. I lost the ball because no player was making the right movement. Two players are making the same movement on the right-hand side. Whereas this open space could have been very exploited if one man would have done it. Again, that's not a Xabi Alonso issue. I can't expect Xabi Alonso for 90 minutes to tell them what to do. My brother, this should be your own instincts as a player. Exploit the open space. Something you've been learning since you were a little kid. This isn't a Xabi Alonso. This is a player issue. We move on to another player issue. Rodrigo, standing right there. Look at Mbappe in a great position. Look at Jude about to crash the box. Fran Garcia is about to crash the box. Trent Alexander-Arnold is overlapping. He is overlapping. He is not in a position like that left back right there. It's hard for him to turn his body because Trent is in full motion. So the moment if he does turn the body, he's already delayed. He's delayed to recover and maybe block the cross or the pass from Trent. Rodrigo should have had the IQ. My fullback is making the overlap run. Let me pass to my fullback. Because if he had done that, guess what? Mbappe would have been in open space for a cutback. Jude is positioning himself for a great cutback, and that would have been an easy goal. Instead, what does Rodrigo do? He decides to shoot. He ignores Trent's run, ignores Trent completely, and just shoots. How are you shooting when you've got two players in front of you, especially from that angle? It's impossible. And look at the frustration of Trent, the frustration of Mbappe and Jude Bellingham, because anyone with a brain would have expected a pass to my overlapping fullback, and my fullback, what would have done? He's got one option and two options. Instead, he shoots. Again, a player issue. Because we've got a lot of egos, we've got a lot of players trying to think about themselves rather than the team, especially in a crucial crunch time of a position where the team matters more than anything else. We move on to the third option. Look at this right here. Arda Güler, my wing back, is making a run. Trent Alexander-Arnold is in full motion to make a great run. If he was able to make a run, then this guy would have reacted, would have continued. Rodrigo is already in a running motion to crash the box. Instead, what does Arda Güler do? He is obsessed. He's been glazing Mbappe every single time. He decides to pass it to Mbappe, ignoring Trent's run. Are we not playing to our best player's strengths? What the hell is going on? And again, I'm not expecting Xabi Alonso to tell the players, pass to Mbappe, pass to Mbappe. Ignore. This should be a simple football. Pass the ball to the person in a better position. Mbappe is not in a good position right now. He's not in a good position right now because he's surrounded by one person, and this guy is running towards Mbappe. So what exactly are you doing? Our players are making bad decisions in the final third. Very bad decisions in the final third. This is another example where Vinny Jr., one simple pass, a pass which you've been making throughout your whole career at Real Madrid, simple pass, that could have been a goal. Instead, I don't know if it was a pass, I don't know if it was a shot, because it was neither of them. It led to absolutely nothing, and we wasted such a golden opportunity. This is another one where it's 1-1 scoreline, and Mbappe could have shot that, decided to pass to Vinny Jr. Vinny Jr., in my personal opinion, shooting, I hear it. You're forward. You're an attacker. You want to score goals. No problem at all. At least a better finish. I feel like the pass was way better because the reason why I say this, I've seen these positions before, especially with Vinny, with Benzema, and especially with Messi, with Neymar, with Alba. When I pass the ball to you, I expect a cutback straight away because I'm in a better position because right now, you've got two players on you. If you pass the ball to me, I've got one angle just to shoot with my left foot. That isn't a bad because I've seen Messi do it so many times. I've seen Benzema with Vinny, that combination, so many times. I've seen with Ronaldo, with Marcelo, so many times. When I pass the ball to you, the pass needs to come back to me. And that's what should have been happening there. That's where the lack of chemistry between these two are in an all-time low at the moment. And again, these examples once again, are not on the manager. It's on the players because the players are not solving it inside the pitch. I can't expect the manager for 90 minutes to tell you what to do. The manager is putting you guys in a position to be successful. The manager right now, in all those examples, are putting you guys in a great positions. Now it comes down to you guys to execute them. You guys haven't executed nothing. And I don't want to say throughout the whole game, by the way, rewatch the game, there was a couple moments where we had some nice combinations, where we created some chances, and we could have scored. But there was other moments where I'm looking at this team. Do you guys know what you're doing on the pitch? But now it comes to, we've spoken about going forward. Now it comes to defensively. And defensively, I'm going to start with Xabi Alonso. What you can do better. What you should have done, or maybe what you could have instructed, or maybe your system shouldn't be like that. Because when you play three centre-backs, math says, science says, that means it should be more compact and it should be difficult for the opponent to break it down. Instead, yesterday, it was extremely easy for everyone to break this back line down. Because first of all, the space between the midfield and the defense was wide open. Why? Because you decided to play Ceballos. We are in 2025. And Ceballos is still starting for my team. Ceballos is not a player you can rely on to start a game. Ceballos, at the worst, at the most, he's able to come off the bench with 5 minutes to go when you've got a lead and you're trying to hold on the lead and he's able to waste time and try to pass sideways, and that's it. Expecting Ceballos to start a game in big 2025 is a decision which you should never ever do, because that comes down to you. Because yesterday, for the 55 minute when Ceballos was on the pitch, defensively we were in shambles because he's not able to, first of all, cover most of these positions. Secondly, he's not big enough to push people off the ball, and he's not able to outdo anyone. So starting Ceballos was the bad decision. Let's go to that clip itself. Why is there so much space right there? And why is Raul Asenio in an island by himself? Raul Asenio, by the way, the tactic yesterday was pretty weird, especially with the three at the back, because the three at the back, rather than two players going up and the last person staying back, with the three at the back, the person in the middle should be the person progressing with it, and the two other players should be sitting deep. Instead, yesterday, it was the left and the right centre back going up, and the middle person staying back. And it happened so many times where Raul and Alvaro Carreras was pushing up, but they don't understand where they need to, like, they're losing their man. Raul lost his man completely. Because it wasn't compact, it wasn't narrow, it was wide open. The space was so open for everyone to exploit. The second clip, why is there so much space between Raul and Trent and Raul and Dean Huijsen and Dean Huijsen, Alvaro Carreras? So much space. And this one led to a chance. This one led to a chance. This is not on Trent, by the way. Trent could have done better, but Trent understands that there's someone there. Raul, you're looking at my man. You're looking at, I don't know if it's Andre Silva. I think it's Andre Silva, because Rafa Mir's build is this one. You're looking at Andre Silva. The pass is getting to him. Why are you not closing him down even more? And again, that is a manager thing, because the manager needs to tell his players, my brother, let's make it narrow. Let's make it compact, rather than leaving us so much space. The third example, look at this. Look at the space from this to this to this. Because if we played a different opponent, any other opponent would have passed it. That pass would have gone to this man. My man is making the run. One little simple pass, and boom, free open space for him to exploit. If that happened against Paris Saint-Germain, Hakimi, which is Hector Fort, would have had an easier space. If that happened against Bayern Munich, boom, Lima. If that happened against Arsenal, boom, Timber. If that happened against Barcelona, boom, Koundé. If that happened against any other opponent, that would have been a goal. Instead, Elche doesn't have the final actions, the final plays to execute these moves, and we were very fortunate not to concede in that position. This is another example where, again, if that man would have passed it over the top, look at the space. Look at the space. Why is Raul there? Look at the space between our defenders. And again, it's a manager thing, because the manager needs to understand, if I'm playing three at the back, it needs to be compactful. I can't be having one person there and one person there. Again, it's a manager thing, because why is there so much space, and why is there so much space between the fullback and the centre back? Because if that man, I don't know who that is again. I don't think it's Hector Fort's there. If he was able to pass the ball over the top, that would have led to another chance. That would have led to a chance to Elche. Again, we got fortunate. But then it comes to the players. Defensively, a manager can do so much. Alonso, again, on those examples, could have done way better to set his team more compact and better defensively as a core unit. He didn't. But then again, it defensively comes down to working hard. It comes down to running. It comes down to fighting. It comes down to just passion. Just passion. I'm going to show you examples which pisses me off, because none of those examples are players willing to do anything. This is the goal that we conceded. And with no lie, this man right here had 4 seconds, which is Febes, the person who scored the first goal. Had 4 seconds to walk with it, drive with it, pass the ball, run, and then chase. Trent, of course, got the blame, and he deserves the blame because he should have understood the run. But the blame doesn't go towards Trent only. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why is Dean Huijsen not closing the space to Rafa Mir? Because if he had that, then he would have blocked that pass. Why is 1, 2, 3, 4 not making any sort of press, any sort of run towards my man? Why are you letting him just run casually through the middle and then find the pass? You can blame Trent, and it's easy to blame Trent. And again, Trent deserves 30%, 40% of the blame. But I blame Dean Huijsen for not pushing up there. I blame 1, 2, 3, 4 for not even making it difficult for Febis. And defensively, it's a collective. We can't expect one person to defend a whole goal. It's a collective effort. And yesterday, collectively, there was no effort at all. There was no effort defensively yesterday, from whether there's a manager putting them in those positions, whether the players actually carrying and actually fighting or actually running that extra mile. No one cared. This is another example where this didn't lead to a goal, but it could have led to something worse if we had played a different opponent. Why? Look at now, this time I include the time. Look at the time, 63:41. Look at the time, 63:41, and look at how 1, 2, 3 doesn't care. And look at this guy just going back. Raul. And I'll show you the goal afterwards. Just tracking back. Why are you tracking back? Why are you making it easy for him? Because if this person was any good, if this person had any sort of awareness, he would have passed a little chip pass over the top, a little pass because this man was running. And again, this comes down to Alonso. But this right here comes down to effort as a player. Because he had, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds. Finally, we put pressure on him. But it took us 4 seconds to put pressure on him because he was able just to run with the ball with so much ease. Then we've got the goal itself. And the goal, I've rewatched it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. And every time I rewatch it, it gets annoying and it goes annoying. The goal, Alvaro Rodriguez is a player that you guys all know. The initial touch that he made was a bad touch. It was a bad touch because Camavinga would have easily, if he had made that effort, and Fede Valverde, if he had made that effort, that touch would have been easily dispossessed and we would have had the ball. Instead, what do? You let him not only touch the ball, control the ball, turn around. You let him now on his pace, on his body motion. You just let him walk through. And none of you guys made any sort of attempt. Not a single one of you guys made any sort of attempt to make it difficult for him. And not only that, these two, when the touch is heavy, the touch was heavy. I'm looking at you, but I'm looking at you two. If you know as a defender, the touch is heavy, you can put pressure on the centre back. That's why I'm looking at Dean Huijsen. What are you doing? You could have put pressure on him because Dean Huijsen, there is no one running in behind you. No one is running that. So your only focus should be Alvaro Rodriguez because there's no other player behind you. This guy made a heavy touch and no one even cared about it. They allowed him to control the ball with so much ease. They gave him the patience. You know what, brother? Control the ball. We'll just wait for you. Yeah. Just control the ball. They allowed him to control the ball, and now he's in a body motion. And it's still no pressure from these two. Instead, what these two are doing, they're tracking back, making it easy for him. So whilst I've got one person running, my defenders are just recycling, are just tracking back. Of course, you're making it easy for him. And these two, whilst these two are tracking back, these two are just jogging. And this is what I'm saying about defensively. Defensively, it comes down to effort. It comes down to that extra mile. Who's able to push that extra mile? Who's able to work hard? Who's able just to fight and grind that one more step? Instead, I've got 2 players just jogging back. This guy, disgusting. And he's supposed to be the captain, by the way. No effort. Camavinga, look at the jog. This guy just, let me not start on Fede Valverde on this goal. Just jogging. This guy is just ignoring him. Dean Huijsen should have made that step way further. And if Dean Huijsen had pushed up there, Alvaro Rodriguez would have never scored. Instead, he never did it. And Raul, tracking back. The worst thing about it, you guys know what he's going to do. He's going to go on his left foot. You know him. He's trained with you guys. He's a former player. Especially this message is directed to Alvaro Rodriguez. Dean Huijsen doesn't know Alvaro because he just joined. Camavinga joined 3 years ago, so you've got some sort of sense because you played with him. He came on the pitch, scored a goal against Atleti when you were on the pitch. So Camavinga, you know who he is. Dean Huijsen might not know his strength. Is he left foot? Is he right foot? He doesn't know. Alvaro Rodriguez, you trained with him. You played with him in the academy. So you know his habits. You should know every single bit of his tendencies. Instead, you didn't. You man allowed him to turn. First of all, you allowed him with a heavy touch. You allowed him to run the ball. You allowed him to go onto his left, to turn, go back to his left. And all of that you guys did without any sort of pressure, without any sort of intent, without any sort of urgency, without any sort of effort. And this is a disgusting ending to the game. Disgusting ending to the game. And this isn't a Xabi Alonso thing. This is just a player thing for the lack of effort. And again, I've said it. It's a combination. When I watched the game yesterday, it's a combination of both the players and the manager. We are in a mess right now because the players are not performing to the level that they should be, and Xabi Alonso at the moment doesn't understand what his best 11 is and doesn't understand what he needs to do with the players, because you can't continue playing the same way with these kind of players because sacrifice needs to be made. But he's scared to make the sacrifices. He's not prepared to make the sacrifices. You can't come out in an interview and say that our goal is to score for Mbappe and we're letting him down. Mbappe's not the team. Real Madrid is the team. It's not just about Mbappe because we've got Vinny, Rodrigo just performing cheeks. We've got no width options. We've got no flank option. Our wingers are not contributing for anything, and that shouldn't be the case. That shouldn't be the case. Jude Bellingham is now in an island where you're not putting him in a position to be successful. And again, it's a manager thing. But then at the same time, I'm blaming the players because Vinny should do better. Mbappe, in those kind of positions, which I showed you earlier, should do a bit better. Rodrigo, 32 games, there's no excuses for you have to do better. Jude Bellingham must do better. I'm looking at players that has to do better, but I'm looking at the manager who has to perform better. So it's a combination of both. You can't say it's a manager thing because it's a manager and a player. You can't say it's a player thing because it's a player and the manager. Hence the reason why we are in a mess. And if you still are deluded, if you're still gullible, if you still think, you know what, obvious, there's nothing wrong with this team, you're being reactionary, it's too early, what are you doing? Believe in the project, my brother. Smell the beans. Smell their beans. You know what you are right now? You remind me of a person. A car is coming towards you. A car is coming towards you. And you know it's going to hit you. Instead, what are you saying? This car is coming in about an hour. I've got enough time. Instead, what can you do? You can avoid it by just move away. Because if you don't move away, it's going to hit you. Problems are coming. I can see the problems from far away. And I saw the problems from last month. And I made it very clear. Last month, we've got deep issues. But you guys told me, oh, you're being reactionary. Guess what? Since that video I've made, Rayo withdrew, Elche withdrew. So clearly I was on the point. And now I can see more problems coming. But instead, you guys have just been trying to stay blinded and cloud the fact that we're the first. Brother, we're first, not because of us. We're first because Barcelona had a slow start and Atleti had a slow start. But my brother, Barca's 1 point behind us, Atleti's 4 points behind us. And have you seen our next games? All I'm saying, if you don't believe we're in a mess right now, then mama mia.